welcome to the program today. Today we're going to be learning about Gifted and Talented and our English language programs. And I am doing this from an administrator of an elementary campus perspective, so this would be to either new teachers or professional development at the beginning of a school year. Gifted Talented, what is it and who is served in this program? So Gifted Talented refers to any child who is showing any potential for high achievement in any creative arts or any content or subject specific area. They can be screened and we can provide services to those learners who are eligible and who qualify for the program. How do students qualify for the Gifted Talented program? In our district, we give different types of screeners. We kind of give a general screener to children in kinder, third, and fifth, and other screeners can be used as well for this. And then there are TABS input forms, which are basically characteristic forms about like creativity, insight, inquiry, ability, independent or individual, like goals setting and successes, that they investigate and have passions. So these are characteristic forms that can be filled out every year on these learners, especially learners in non-screening years, is potentially helpful because sometimes maybe they don't show that much qualifying work on maybe the screener, but maybe through the TABS form in the next year, some areas are starting to pop and show up, and so those kids can be looked at because we use a combination of their academic scores and district screeners that are given throughout the year. We use work portfolio pieces, any STAR testing data that we might have, and then also any TABS input forms from teachers. Parents also have an option of sending an input. If parents refer a child, they can make a referral for their child to be screened for the Gifted Talented program, and parents can also provide their input as well. And they must have 3 qualifying data points in order to be eligible to receive the Gifted Talented program. What do we provide and who supports this program? We provide opportunities for higher level thinking through this program. Learners will create, once they've entered the program and the beginning of each school year, after they qualify and begin the program, they will create SMART goals, and that goal is set up basically something that they want to be challenged in, something that might be a passion of theirs, something that they want to grow in their knowledge and research and investigation throughout that year. And so that goal is kind of tracked. They can spend outside class time working on that goal and working on projects related to their SMART goal, and they will be able to reflect on that at the end of the year. Supports. Teachers work alongside the GT specialists, and they provide extensions and instructions within the classroom. So here in our district, we provide a push-in GT model. So the learners are supported through extension activities within the classroom, and the GT specialist will push into the classroom to assist learners through questioning or extending their thinking in different ways within the classroom. There's also opportunities for them to also go down and work on social skill development, social emotional development, and if they have SMART goal projects they're working on, they have times where they can go work on those as well. There is a GTC committee on campus. It is composed of an administrator, the guidance counselor, the GT specialist, and also a classroom teacher from every grade level. So any learners who qualify for the program and meet eligibility will go through the GTC committee, and everyone in the committee needs to agree whether they would like to go ahead and allow the learner and qualify the learner based on their eligibility into the program, and based on that, then it's taken to the district, to the GTC committee for approval. What instructional approaches are used? Like I said earlier, we use a push-in model in our district for extension opportunities for these kids. They kind of focus on the depth and complexity framework. Some ways that we also do that is we have a competitive Math Olympiad team for our 5th graders, but then we also have a junior Math Olympiad team for our 4th graders in preparation for the 5th grade competitive team. And that is a national team that competes, and there are school awards and team awards, individual awards that are awarded at the end of the year for those competitions. And that's used for critical thinking and math. We also use Birdsea TV, and Birdsea TV is really, really great for inquiry. It gets your mind working and wondering about just new things that maybe the normal average student in person probably wouldn't ever investigate or notice or wonder about. And so this is really, really great for differentiation, and it's also great for just providing some extensions and curiosity and inquiry into their passions. We also we have creative writing competitions for those creative kids. That's also open for the entire district, not just for GT learners. But that is sponsored by the Copp Hill Gifted Association. And so we utilize that website for other activities and to learn more about that competition that a lot of the kids participate in each year. We also kind of focus on and use Birdie Kingor's KOI for nurturing creative thought. How do we monitor these learners? So throughout the year, we use evaluations and reevaluations, of course, in Kinder 3rd and 5th to see if learners are eligible for the program. We also document extensions and pre and post assessment scores on these learners because this provides documentation for when they reevaluate. We have data to kind of support whether they should continue in the program and make sure that their goals are being met. They create individual SMART goals each year, and these are samples of kind of what our documentation look like. We have a service documentation here to outline the district and state screeners, and then we also have a place where we post extensions and enrichment opportunities that they have spent time working on throughout the course of the year. And that's also good to have a paper trail, so if parents are asking, how they are being extended and challenged in the classroom, you can provide all of the learning experiences that they have been part of. Some common mistakes that educators make when working with GT learners. Some teachers think learners that just have really, really high grades and are just really smart are a gifted, talented student, and that's not always the case. Really, it's super important to use that TABS characteristic sheet and really look at each of those categories, and it will break it down really, really clearly so that you can see that it isn't just excelling in a particular subject. It's also different creativity that we're looking at as well. And so there's lots of different characteristics and behaviors that we'll track those other things for you to see if they really may qualify. And then some teachers tend to give more work to GT learners instead of separate extension work. So gifted, talented learners does not mean that they're going to do the regular classroom work and then we just give them extra because they're capable. Really, an extension opportunity and project should be put in place instead of what the kids in the regular education classroom are doing, because they're not needing to do what the regular kids are doing. They're needing to be pushed and challenged in a different way. And so instead think, what can this child do that is project-based or that they can do instead of the regular assignment? We're going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk about a new program. A different program that we offer on our campus is our EL program, and that is for English language learners. What is the program and who do we serve? Any new students that come to our school take a parent survey. In that survey, it's asked what their home language is. And any time that there is a home language that is selected that is not English, that child is automatically screened, given a language assessment. And the LAS assessment is given for kinder and up, and then the pre-assessment is given for pre-K learners. And then they use a 1 to 5 scale for each of the assessments that they give that child. And anytime they get a 3 or below in any of those descriptors, that child automatically will qualify for the program. The parent must approve the services. The parents have the opportunity to deny the services, which basically means they would not get any of the supports that could be offered through an ESL program on that campus, but they would still be required to take the state screener at the end of the year, the TELPAS, and they would not get supports on that. What do we do to provide for these learners? We provide a lot of in-class support and a lot of push-in support from our ESL facilitator on campus. We assist the EL learners and help them toward proficiency in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The goal for every EL learner is to exit them after 2 years in the program. Who supports them? Our ESL facilitator, of course. We use the push-in model for our ESL learners. And then every teacher has to be ESL certified in our district so that we can provide those supports to them within the classroom. There is a committee that consists of an administrator, parent or guardian, classroom teacher, and ESL facilitator that works toward goals with that child. And then don't forget our families. It's really important to make sure that we are maintaining good relationships and connect with those families too. That way they feel like part of our school family and culture, and that we embrace the families and we embrace their home culture as well. What different supports or interventions are used? Our big support is through Imagine Learning. There is a link here that will take you to the Imagine Learning site, and it provides a lot of at-home opportunities. They can use it at home, they can use it at school, and that's a really, really great tool. We use Imagine Learning for our K2 kiddos, and then we use System 44 as a program for our 2 and up. We use culturally responsive teaching in the classroom, within the classroom. That's really, really helpful to promote cultural awareness and embrace everyone's cultures. Of course, sentence stems, lots of graphic organizers, visuals for a lot of things, especially with our young kids or kids who just enter the program. And then we also offer a lot of vocabulary assistance and dictation and speech to text availability on assessments and on their iPads that they can utilize as well. How do we monitor learners in the program? We use Success Ed. Success Ed, we monitor their progress every 9 weeks by updating what accommodations and supports those learners are receiving in the classroom on a regular basis. That kind of helps us kind of look toward goals moving ahead. What can we start taking away and pushing more independence on? What do we need to continue working on to support this child? And then, of course, they will take the TELPAS in the spring. To exit, we do use to exit the program, we use their TELPAS scores, teacher input, and then academic progress. And then they're monitored for up to 4 years after they exit the program, and then we report to the state the first 2 years after they exit. Some common mistakes that sometimes teachers make when working with EL learners. Sometimes when we have a brand new learner that's coming in, and they're kind of coming in with a blank slate and they don't have any knowledge of the English language, a lot of times teachers can panic at first, saying, what do I do? How do I help them? How do I support them? And they kind of panic. The best way to avoid that and to work through it is just don't panic. Reach out to your ESL facilitator. Ask them for supports and strategies. If it's a brand new newcomer, your ESL facilitator will be in your classroom pushing in and helping assist and support that child. And so just know that the best way for them to learn the language is for them to collaborate, talk with peers, and hear lots of language all the time. See visuals, point to visuals, have pictures of things around your classroom so that they know what they are. Repeat things to them, speak slowly using short modified sentences, only what they need in order for them to receive support. And then sometimes it's really hard when you have a learner in the program to identify whether they have just a language proficiency issue or if it's more of a processing issue and more of a special education need. And so sometimes it's really hard to know, well, which is it? I'm not really sure. Is it a language barrier still, or is there something else going on? And then the best way to kind of solve that issue is give the child time to show progress. If they are not showing progress after a substantial, after a month, and they are just not showing progress with their language, then chances are it may be something else that's going on that we need to look into. And that would be something to bring up with your ESL facilitator if that's going on at our data meetings as well, so that we can kind of target, maybe if there's a bigger issue there that we're missing. Just some additional resources that I've used for my presentation. Birdsea TV and the Coppell Gifted Association retrieved a lot of information from there for the presentation, and some great articles on Edutopia, and then literacy programs for EL, and some strategies and techniques that we added to that slide for EL learners. And that's all. Thank you for listening to the presentation today.